All right, ladies and gents, welcome to a very important series in Titans League. Again, every game matters, and for these two players, it is always going to be a fight for survival, and it is looking really tough, specifically for El Matador, because this will be his last series, and he pretty much needs a 3-0 to have a chance. You see, there were 3 players promoted into this group. It was Target, it was El Matador, and it was Z40. And Target was able to beat El Matador 2-1, and then he was able to beat Z40 2-1 as well. So as it stands, Target sitting at 5 wins, El Matador at 3. If El Matador wins 2-1 here, then he would be tied with Target, but he would most likely lose the tiebreaker in best case scenario there. So he'd pretty much be competing with Hart. Now, Hart hasn't played as many sets as he really should have at this point. He'll be playing within a couple days, and then a couple days after that. And then Z40, the real reason he's got a good chance here is he's got more games in hand. He has a series against Hart and a series against Sebastian waiting for him. But Hart and Sebastian, really strong talents. Again, both these guys need wins desperately. Now let's see what happens here as the fight for survival is officially on for them as we close out Gold. Matador's gone for the Cumins, a pick that I love ever since seeing Overtaken do it the other day in his series against Dragonstar. And what Overtaken did was he made his second TC in the Berry area, which is very close to El Matador's base. So I could see that being an option that El Matador considers. From what I remember, it was a dock into TC. Man, I have to say, this generation has the berries much closer and the water much further. Like, this is very odd. I mean, it's not unfair necessarily. It's just different that the berries are close and then the fish is far. Every other generation I feel like I've seen, it's been the fish is close by and then the berries are a bit further away. So the plan for Matador was to dock. He's going to see the fish there and probably send his villagers out, but he's got to go a little bit further. And then Z40 as well. I mean, pretty sure he was planning on a dock, and he's got to travel pretty far out here to get his dock down. Whoa, what's weird is this is actually the same exact Civ matchup that we saw between Dragonstar and Overtaken as well in their series. I'm pretty sure it was Overtaken Cumins, and then, well, I know it was Overtaken Cumins, and I think it was Vietnamese for Dragonstar. And we ended up seeing Vietnamese Cav Archers, and ultimately, Dragonstar wasn't able to stop the economy from Cumins from expanding, and couldn't really stop the second TC from paying off. There were far too many villagers from Overtaken on the field, and the army count got high enough to eventually just force Dragonstar to tap out. So, sorry, just need to tab out and fix something here. So yeah, I'm curious. Someone says, what are those fences? Yeah, the one tile of fence is part of the map, and you can break them. It's only 12 HP, so you can break them, take that down, and then you'll get a pig, or a cow and a sheep, excuse me. So the question, we asked of Dragonstar in that series, I highly suggest everyone watch the Overtaken Dragonstar series if you have additional time. It should be on YouTube by the time this one's on YouTube. It was a really good series, and that is in a group where, like, people just can't stop winning. Overtaken is favored. He's got one more series. He's favored for relegation with 5 wins right now, which is pretty ridiculous. And then you've got like 7-win Sato, 7-win Dragonstar, 8-win Slam, and then 6-win Kingston, but Kingston has 2 rounds left. Like, it's a ridiculous group. So again, I encourage you to watch the series. Everyone's been playing amazing there. Unfortunately, Stark has just been getting bashed around, but anyway, sorry, I'm kind of going all over the place. This is the first cast of the day, just getting warmed up. But still, like, big question on how do you punish the 2TC play? And I think in a standard game, you punish the 2TC play by going for the Castle Age and then going for heavy Knight play. Knight and Siege. So Knight and Siege could be a potential option. I could see him maybe considering killing the fish here. It does slow down the food income for El Matador, and Z40 did scout the dock. So I could see him being tempted to try that, but right now he's on the way to Feudal Age, and from what I'm seeing here, it just looks like this will be a scout build, which is very similar to what we had seen Dragonstar attempt. Knowing where the opponent's TC is quite nice. That's a Vietnamese bonus, especially when the map generations... I mean, it feels very centered, but it feels like off-center, a little bit more unique than what we've seen most times. Is Z40 a model of shoe too? No, but someone said, like... I forget, I saw a comment recently that was like... okay, never mind. I actually forget the comment, but yeah, someone made a joke with like T90, Z40, like... was saying that Z40 was like a futuristic tank or something. I don't actually know what Z40 stands for, if anything. His original name is like Z40, but then like a bunch of other numbers after it as well. So I don't really know too much more about this guy and his name origin. So Overtaken didn't go directly for the second TC. He actually had gone for a stable, and then once he had a few scouts, that went for the second TC. So he's going to drop a stable here. He will also be going scouts. This is the same Matador that was in the community game yesterday. Yes. Matador knows the water's here. Didn't scout to confirm the dock. I don't think he's going to be too bothered about that. Usually players, if they're not docking, they're just kind of... They'll swing over to the fish later on if they want to end up killing them, maybe with their scouts or something. There are 2 villagers here for El Matador. And I recall that that was an area Overtaken forgot about when he was on the 2 town centers. Still no attempt for the second TC. Might consider this a bit more risky, because it's right down the center of the map, but I still think it's worth it with all the berries and with all the deer there. It really pays for itself quickly. Z40 getting horse color now. Going to be seeding some farms, but also on the deer and the berries here. And the first place that Z40 went was directly for these 2 villagers on the dock. So, it's funny the consistencies that we have seen thus far from the exact same matchup. I'd have to ask Matador, but I'm wondering if he maybe saw the Overtaken game. Because no one else was picking humans here, is from what I understand. I did miss the first week and a half, 2 weeks of gold, but I never even saw humans on any of the games or the results I saw on Spiral. I wonder if he saw that and was like, you know what? That's a really good strat. I should try that in my series, which is an important series. He wins this 2-1. He's got a very slight chance of survival, but it's unlikely. He really needs a 3-0 here today. And he really, the big series that might come back to haunt El Matador was actually his series versus Target. We did feel like whoever won that series between Matador and Target would be maybe favored to get that 4th place spot. Target could actually get into the playoffs, guys. He could get 3rd place. Like, Hart having not played a lot of games yet in their group, it makes things interesting. Hart's got to play Nikov. And then Hart has to play Target yet, I think. And then he will have to play Z40. So 3 rounds yet for Hart. He has 3 wins, 3 losses. Nothing too crazy to get excited about for him. All right, so Matador made his 4 scouts. He got his revenge. He killed 1 villager there. He now has 2 TCs creating villagers. And he, again, like, all the deer's protected. He's also fully walled at his base. So he's very safe there. I'd like to see him invest his wood a little bit more, though. He really should just be farming now. Like, all these villagers should be farmers. You could tell he's working on it, but if you look at El Matador's APM, it's a reminder that he looks at his military a lot. A lot. And he's clicking a lot on that military. Right now, he seems kind of annoyed by these scouts from Z40. Z40 is just accepted. I can't do anything about this. I'm just going to try my best to kill these fishing ships. And he's not going to get that one somehow. And Matador shows up with his own scouts. Matador should be able to clear up these scouts or at least chase them away. Again, big thing for Matador is farming eco. But 2 TCs are pumping out vills, and Z40 has to head to Castellate to try and punish this. And his eco balance is really solid here. I really like the timings on everything economically. And I think Cav Archers take a lot of time to build up. You already have a stable. I know that Vietnamese are known for their knights, but I feel like Siege Knight right on this TC is the way to do it. I think you can have more success in a shorter period of time if you go Siege Knight. Or like Pikeman Knight, but... Or Pike Siege. And Pike Siege could actually be a really solid option as well. Still, he's going to add the archer range. This game has been so similar to the game we saw with this matchup from another group. I think Matador will understand that. Again, I believe that maybe Matador saw that game, so he's like, ooh, okay. He's adding ranges now. Must be Cav Archers. Very possible both players saw the game, by the way. Would make sense. I know that Matador watches my stream a decent amount, so he's probably been watching the casts. And Archer Edition is probably just to push away the Spearmen here, but I think long-term we're not actually going to see Archers. It doesn't make a ton of sense to make Archers when you have to upgrade to Crossbowmen, and you have such a small amount. Okay, he's continuing to make Archers. Well, then I disagree with it, because Crossbowmen's pretty expensive. 175 food, 125 gold. I'm not sure it's worth it to upgrade, like, 4 Archers to Crossbowmen. All Vietnamese Archers get extra HP, so that applies to the Cav Archers, too. You might want some decent mobility. So I feel like Cav Archer is a nice play. I like the scouting here from El Matador. First game in a very important series, scouting the map. Has a good idea of where this stone and gold is. Has a good idea of where this gold and stone is. Knows it's double range. Knows he'll have a Vil lead. He's got a significant Vil lead. And here comes the Siege Workshop for Z40. Again, getting Bodkin, he cannot afford currently to get Crossbow. No, it's I lied. Sorry, it's in queue behind his archer range. I didn't see that. So many players forget that they can make a Siege Workshop in Feudal Age with humans off these types of builds. You're going to need defensive siege, so adding this Siege Workshop before you're in Castle Age, that way the first thing you can do in Castle Age is produce CA. Is really nice, or not CA, sorry. I'm getting my words wrong this morning, but Megan Else. It's a really good decision. Z40 needs to kill a lot of villagers to even out the score, but he finds himself on the other side of these berries here. That's a nice little spot. It's a really awkward position. El Matador's completely surrounded. And he's going to add Step Lancers to try and clear up these crossbowmen, and he is going to be able to make just enough Step Lancers to clear this up. Again, the crossbow mass just isn't really high enough here. If that's 15 crossbows, I don't think the Step Lancers have a chance. The Step Lancers, 80 HP. They have bloodlines, they have armor, they have attack. So this is something that Matador kind of planned around. And now let's see if he can just stabilize here. He's got a big eco lead. He's going to land a big shot. That's a direct hit. And that is now 1 weak mango for Z40, and he's got to bring villagers forward to repair this. It's already so difficult against the humans if everything goes according to plan with numbers, etc. But at the moment, it just really feels as though he does not have, as he does land a big shot here, but he just doesn't have the numbers of army to protect his siege. Had he gone Cav Archers, this still might not have worked out, right? Because it still takes so long to mass. This is a really good strategy here. And now I think you can really, if you wish to, you could branch out here to maybe a third town center on a gold or stone, and you can extend your lead even further if you're El Matador. So here we go. Step Lancers engaging against these crossbows. I was having conversation about Step Lancers the other day, talking about how Mongol Step Lancers are usually the Step Lancers that are seen because of the extra HP. But human Step Lancers a bit faster. That speed paying off, making it difficult for Z40, and Z40 just falling apart here. And El Matador able to use that speed, both as a player and with the humans, perfectly right now. And he's going to plan for a castle drop here too, guys. Look at him save these weak Step Lancers. I mean, Z40, it feels like this is super over. It feels like he's super dead. I don't even know if the castle needs to happen. But yeah, if you were going to go for the... Oh, don't tell me the crossbow gets a kill. If you were going to go for the castle, you could just go for it here. You could go for it forward. He is also adding the next TC. Yeah, Matador has made this look really easy. This is a really solid strat. Really curious to see if this happens more and more on this map, because this is the second time. I mean, I think Dragonstar had played a bit better against it than Z40 did. But this is the second time we've seen this strat, and it really just feels like you have to do far too much to stop it. It feels like you have no realistic chance at ever stopping this. Yeah, Kinch, I agree. Like, what makes Lancers strong with humans is the fact that it's typically on the back of the two town centers. And you just have so much food income, especially on this map, because, well, he doesn't have the berries now, but he had the berries, he had the deer. A Matador microing, a Spearman are not very good against Lancers because Lancers are usually getting hits against them before the Spearman can close in. And it's just all desperation from Z40 here. And this is really interesting now because if Matador 3-0s Z40, he's still got a solid enough chance at maybe staying alive, as he will surpass Target in the rankings. Target is 5 wins, Matador is 3. So if Matador 3-0s, he goes up to 6 wins. Then he has to hope that Target doesn't get a win in his final series against Hart. And Hart could honestly 3-0 there. You get the momentum from this. You feel really confident from this. You take it to future games. Z40 then starts to doubt himself. There's a lot that could really snowball from this. I mean, unfortunately, there's not much more I can really say currently. I mean, I've seen GGs called over less. I could say that I don't agree with continuing to produce crossbowmen when you're going to lose the archery range. But yeah, this is first game of the series. And I'm sure for Z40, he feels like it's over, and he's just gonna take his time calling that GG anyways. Just so he can calm down his nerves a little bit before moving on to the next one. Elephants are a tankier unit, but still just 1 unit attacking versus 13 here. This is sick. This is as clean as it gets from El Matador. Might even see TC number 4 for him in a moment. Feels like he's going to buy stone. I don't know where these builds are going otherwise. Does he have a market? Probably has a market somewhere. Okay, breaking his way through this house. You have to be careful. We need another house here, Z40. Drops the other house. Still doesn't have an answer to these things. Most annoying part about Step Lancers, and I honestly think something's going to have to be done about it, is they can stack on top of each other. Like, you can get 13 units onto 2 tiles if you really stack them right. And then they attack from 1 range. So it's like you try and engage against them with a counter unit like camels or something. With how bad melee pathing is, this is why I say they might need to make a change. Melee pathing is really bad right now. It was all right. It was solid, and then they broke it in March. They can't fix melee pathing again. I think Step Lancers are going to have to be looked at because they add a bigger hitbox or something. But it is satisfying to use. It's not very satisfying to be up against, obviously. Desperation Castle from Z40. I mean, even still. You get this castle up, and then I guess the hope would be Imp, and he doesn't really have the res for Imp. Nothing has gone to plan here for Z40, as Matador is just chilling. What's up, Steven? Welcome. Yeah, Nishar, I agree. Using Step Lancers is really satisfying. Imp's on the way now for El Matador. 52 kills, 20 deaths. Hasn't killed a lot of eco, but his eco has been flying. Z40's has not been. 1 relic's already in for El Matador. He's about to get the second. Finding a few more villager picks here. And he'll probably just be able to run away then. Elephants are not going to be a unit that can conveniently chase all this down. Tossing away some Step Lancers. Seems like Matador's going to switch into more of a power unit here and switch into the Knights. With all this gold control in the middle, it makes sense for him to do that. Little APM check. There has not been a single point in this game in which Z40 has been faster. I normally don't check the APM as much, but with Matador, it's just ridiculous. And he's on stone for another castle, expanding to another TC, just in case there's ever a raid here. I mean, right now Z40's making Rattan Archers, which can be great in the long run with the Vietnamese. But we should be showing you his res collected. At 6,000 more resources here for Matador. All snowballing from being on the 2 town centers. It did not take much defense at all to really defend from that attack that Z40 sent in towards him. They shouldn't be able to stack like they do. They should stack like Knights, so the extra range is still really strong, but not crazy. I agree. I agree. I think the pathing and the way... Like, it'll still be easier for step lancers to engage because of the extra range. The pathing will still look less awkward with them, but they shouldn't be able to stack all on one tile. I agree. Mira, if you want to stack 40 units on the same tile, I know you're being sarcastic, but just play with Arbalest. Arbalest, you probably can't get 40 on one tile, but you can get quite a few on one tile. Another thing that makes them so strong. All right, so Z40, 90 seconds away from the Imperial Age. And there's going to be a Treb on the way for Matador. He doesn't actually know about this castle yet, so he might accidentally send his Treb into the other castle fire. He's got Knights with plenty of upgrades here, soon to be Cavalier, and he's just going to raid the sides of Z40's eco. Z40's been forced to place this type of castle. And that's obviously a sitting duck, as are Matador's villagers right now. He needs to rebuild them, and no, never mind. GG's called. Villagers were dying over here. Villagers would die over here. Z40 probably knew he was dead for a while. And El Matador looked unstoppable in that game. So he takes himself up to 4 wins now. But again, if he gets one more win only, he's tied with Target, but Target would beat him in the tiebreaker, even if Target loses 3-0 in his final round. So he essentially needs to, you know, he probably needs to aim for the 3-0. I mean, everyone needs to aim for as many wins as possible. Z40 is going to go to a home map, though, to turn it around. Maybe he is a civilization that he's decided is as strong, as dominant as the Cumans there on Spiral. I'll have to look at the civ stats, but I think Cumans have a 100% win rate now in gold because they haven't been played a lot. And I mean, I've seen them 2 times, and they've just destroyed everyone on Spiral. So maybe the best Spiral civ right now, and everyone else has kind of been sleeping on it. All right, so game number 2. This is the home map for Z40. And Z40's gone for the Byzantines. And then we've got the Burmese for Matador. We've seen a lot of fast imps, which Byzantines could be good at. We've seen a lot of heavy monk play on this map, which Burmese could be good at. We've also seen a lot of laming. So keep your eyes out. Keep your eyes peeled for that. Matador bringing in his elephant right away because it was on the front and he doesn't want that thing stolen. It's a really smart move. As you can see, Z40 already bringing forward a villager. Okay, so a couple other unique aspects to this map. So this area, which Z40 is currently going to lumber camp, this is there on both sides. And almost looks like Z40 is wandering over towards that area on El Matador's side. And the idea here is to wall that up so a lumber camp can't be placed there, I'm pretty sure. I think one palisade will go down in no time, though. And also that villager doesn't have loom yet. That said, both players are getting loom as we speak. But this is actually great defense from El Matador. El Matador is going to kill the villager. And he should still be able, if he wants to place a lumber camp there. You just have to batter that down. I don't think that's going to take too long. But this is kind of a feature of the map. Being able to chop through to dock is a feature of the map because you can't get there any other way. If you were to lumber camp here, obviously it would take much longer. So this would be, it's 50 wood a tree. So it's 150 wood in order to free yourself up to end up docking there. Now Z40 has the stronger scout after that whole interaction. So he's lost a villager. But he's going to try and disrupt Matador from pushing the zebra here. And here we go. Actually, that reminds me as well. I'm gonna press edit because people who are watching now probably don't know what I'm talking about. But Hardy, we really need to go back because I'm gonna forget. And when El Matador played this with Goths, I casted it. He pushed someone else's zebra across the map. I think it was maybe Matador Sebastian. It was like a 6-minute journey to push a guy's zebra from the other side of the map over here. It was ridiculous. Anyways, another villager came forward for Z40. And he just wants to lame these things. Like he wants to make it more difficult for El Matador to get the food. And El Matador moving forward now, he's thinking he wants to lame as well. And I'm thinking he might be aiming to wall in the berries. So seeing as this set was played yesterday, and this would be the final round for El Matador, I think he'd be okay with me sharing. I spoke to him and I said, like, hey, like, look at Fractal. Look at the game between Dragonstar Sato. Look at how they played it. We see a lot of, like, fast imps, a lot of water play with walls. And he said something along the lines of, I'm really comfortable playing for the middle control and like, not playing towards fish. And talked about a couple, like, you know, instances where he felt like that could be strong. So, I mean, you've got Byzantines here. The Byzantine player is going to be through to fishing earlier. And then Byzantines do have the stronger docks and the faster working fires. So I think, like, in a water engagement, you absolutely favor Byzantines. I could see maybe even Man-at-Arm Tower Rush being a strategy that El Matador wants to go for here. Just a lot of land aggression through the middle. And then a lot of monks. Because if he can deny these stones and deny these golds, then there's only this gold and this stone that's available for Z40. You could chop through eventually to the golden stone out here. That obviously will take time. There is also this area, but in order to get there, you kind of have to run through the middle. So Z40, he's going to go try and dock here, guys. Or at least try and build a wall. He might be trying to wall so his opponent can't dock block. It's an actual strat. So basically, in order to dock here, there has to be a piece of land that's free. So if you make 2 palisades, then your opponent cannot block that with a dock. I think that's what he's going for. He's docked himself here. Doesn't actually have a fishing ship yet. Z40 doesn't know that the berries have been walled up, which is interesting. Oh, actually, no. He's going to try and build a wall behind the trees here. And stop El Matador from coming through at all. Whoa. Oh, man. The tree was just chopped as well. And that's just El Matador not knowing that that could be a possibility. Honestly, I think that had he microed the villagers, you could tell that he chopped a lot of the trees on the sides for a bit. Had he just shift queued the trees, he probably would have been through already. So now, I mean, you could still try and chop different trees if you want if you're El Matador, but he's just attacking the palisade for now. Yeah, this is absolutely going to be land control through the middle then for him. And we see the barracks already. Z40. Still no fishing ships, though. He's on the way to Feudal Age, and he might have some resistance. El Matador will be in Feudal Age faster, but his scout's so weak that I don't think, even with the extra attack, that he could fight that. Matador's in my chat says Nikov did that against Z40 as well. Oh, really? Okay, so you obviously watched the Rex. Interesting. So, a learned strategy there. I didn't watch that set. I feel like this should never happen. Like, this is the typical caster. But I feel like, you know, the chopping through is a big part of this map. I get that there's a lot of other things that happen, so players forget things. Like, right now, Matador didn't get his gold timing right. He just didn't shift over to gold at all. House timing's a bit awkward. It's just been a scrappy situation. Good heads-up thinking from Z40, and this villager's just going to sit here forever and repair this. I mean, that's not too bad. I wonder if it'd be worth it to delete it and place a stone wall. It's chancing it, obviously. But just, like, really quick delete stonewall piece, and then suddenly you're in a better spot. Burmese get +1 attack on their infantry per age, so the militia still have, I guess, as much attack as a man-at-arm would. No, did man-at-arms have 5 or 6 attack? I think it might be 6. I should know this. I obviously know it's a bit of an increase in HP. Oh, God. I also should know that I shouldn't make it known that I don't know that. But I'm too stupid on both sides of things. Anyways, Z40's going to know now if he tries to take his berries, it's walled in. So that's really awkward for his food income. And he's come over here with a galley. So I guess the idea is once you're here with the galley, then you don't need to repair this anymore. The house is on the way down. Barracks is very delayed for Z40. So he couldn't add an archer range yet. And he really doesn't have enough food income to keep villas producing consistently. For El Matador, he's got berries. He's got farms. The wood income is going to be extremely awkward. He actually needs to get out of here. You see these villagers are trapped. He needs to go over here now. But new lumber camp's already up. That's a nice and snug lumber camp. So, I mean, the pressure's on right now for Matador, and I think it's pretty solid. Matador's scout's still alive at the moment, and he did go over here to scout this area, but there's probably very little attention on that. Matador actually walling so Z40 doesn't maybe run through with something at some point. I mean, I feel like right now, if you've got militia and skirms, shifting over here to try and stop these berries from being taken would be a key thing right now. And taking out the houses, I'm not sure that's going to have as much of an effect. Still no gold income for Matador. And an arm upgrade would be worth it if your opponent's going to be making only skirms. Like, your opponent's not going to make archers on land now. Actually, I think if you had the man-at-arm upgrade, you might even take out this archery range. Still could maybe do it anyways. Z40, just heavy fish boom, guys. He's got 6 fishing ships, 0 fishing ships for Matador, and then we have another dock here from Z40, so he's just going to take full water control. Mill has to be back here for Z40. He correctly decides he needs to back away. And the fish is going to take some time to pay off, but in the long run, it will be superior to farms. There's so many farms from El Matador. I want to check resources collected. He's collected more. I feel like if he can get to Castle Age now, and maybe siege push, monk push this area, as he runs underneath the TC. Ooh, this is not something Z40 expected. Normally you have villagers around your TC doing farms or something. Oh, God. This is going to be so sloppy here for Z40. He's just spamming fishing ships. And the militia and the spearmen come through as well. Z40's got a tower now. I mean, the tower's the right play. I know it's against skirms, but eventually your vills will just die. So the tower's the right play. But what a funny situation. He actually has come this way to take stone as well, which is super unique. I don't understand that when you have the stone here. It just feels like a messy game right now. Again, like, El Matador was dominant in the first game, and I'm sure on some level, it affects how you're feeling going into this one. Also, Z40 hasn't won many games in TTL Gold. While he does have more games in hand, he's going up against Hart and Sebastian, which are big names. But, I mean, docking is a great approach. And there's no easy way for El Matador to ever get back on water. Well, apparently you can go through the backside. Huh, that's interesting. Is that why? Is Z40 adding a galley? I was thinking maybe he would sit a galley here and then a galley here if he knew about that. Okay, sorry, I wasn't expecting El Matador to try and come back this way. And he absolutely did. He's on the way to Castle Age here. Doesn't know about the stone being mined, but he's kind of been he's been trapped into Z40's base right now. Do you think Say My Name, who was eliminated, could have done better than Z40? Question mark. Potentially, but I think it'd be pretty close. Like, remember, Target beat Say My Name 3-2. And, oh god, there's a hole there. Target beat Say My Name 3-2. And then Target beat Z40 2-1 in their series. So, I don't know. It's really hard to look at it that way. Z40 earned his spot here. He's got, I think, 2 wins right now. And one more win on the board, and then maybe a couple other wins from another series could be good for him. But both players really need to win this series, and there's no guarantee that if they win this series that they're going to stay up. So, anyways, I mean, we've just been looking at a whole lot of damage control here from Z40, and it has not looked pretty. Matador has been all over him. This is like, you need a Siege Workshop, Monastery. You just pressure this TC instantly. Matador should win this game. I understand there's 15 fishing ships, which is ridiculous. 15, 16, 17 fishing ships. But Matador should dominate here with this much time. Oh, he didn't actually have a blacksmith yet. So, you need the blacksmith before a siege workshop. So, that does delay the first siege weapon coming out. And that's an important thing when it comes to timing. If this was a siege workshop and it was completed, I know being Byzantines is a bit different, but could have even been some question on if Z40 could make it to Castle Age here. Anyways, Villager for Z40 is just chilling over here. It still says Z40 has a galley in production. I'm so confused. Every time I look over, he must have canceled one before, and now he is making a galley because he's worried about the skirms, I guess. But just now, the Mangonel's on the way for El Matador, so that was wasted time. And honestly, guys, there's no way that El Matador can stop a castle going up here, which is probably what Z40 will elect to do. He's got stone here, he's got stone here, he's got more than enough stone. Also would love to see outposting here. It's very easy to focus middle, middle, middle. But you know you're probably going to be pressured middle. A couple outposts, especially with Byzantine vision, would be so nice in this back area. And there's no easy way for El Matador to get back there. El Matador's got 10 farms for his food income. Z40 has 18 fishing ships. I think Z40 will eventually surpass Matador in terms of res collected. Matador's scout goes down. And he's probably expecting a defensive castle from Z40, and he's probably feeling good about the amount of control he has right now. Yeah, without the fish boom, this game would be so over. With the fish boom, you could legitimately win the game. It's no joke. 60 eco versus 44. So yeah, it's been all Matador in terms of pressure, but he hasn't exactly killed that much. And there's no easy way for him to ever get back on water to disrupt the fishing ships either. Now, this castle doesn't save the TC, so Z40 will be no TC gaming here in a second. And Z40's got a lot on stone, so maybe even see a second castle. I think what El Matador is expecting is for this to be a monk war, because there's been many monk wars before on this map. And so he's getting the cheap upgrades. For Burmese, it's very cheap to get monk upgrades. And he's definitely planning for a forward castle fast imp here. He has the resources to be able to go for a second town center. But, oh, sorry, I don't have market events on. Shoot. Yeah, there's the market events. You can see he used it a lot. And he's just hoping for a castle here and then to trap that down. Obviously, not something that you normally want to try against Byzantines. Because Byzantines have the cheaper Imperial Age, and they also have the stronger castles. So, one of the worst things you could try against Byzantines, in theory, is beating them to imp and winning the Treb War. But it does feel like the situation still calls for it. And he's disrupted Z40 quite a bit. Z40 clears up a lot of the army that was here. Z40 scouting this area with a skirmisher. So, no outpost for him, but scouting around anyways. Got 3 monasteries. Should be pretty solid. El Matador won the first game. Really needs a 3-0. 2-1, I think. I looked at the stats. He's got like a 4% chance at survival. If he wins 3-0, he's got maybe like a 20% chance at survival. Again, I'm forgetting the odds. We can look through what the plan today and the plan after every series as we see redemption pay off. Nice shot from Z40 to delete that, though, because you don't want to donate that to the enemy. After every series today, we will input the results into our stats page, and we will see what it means for the players. Because we're getting closer and closer now, so it gets a lot more fun to look at. Z40 will beat El Matador to imp. If there is a castle for El Matador, he will see it. And El Matador now coming for that castle. Z40 can take wood, he can take gold, he can take stone. He's not actually mining any stone at the moment, but he could. He could do that all on the outside. And res collected, guys. Still fairly close, but it's been more food for Z40. Who also went for atonement, is going for monastery number 4, and is going to try and go monks. This is all about wololoing each other's monks and having enough trebs to push. El Matador's food eco is not good enough to really switch into anything else right now. This is all about monks and trebs. Saving that wood and saving that gold. So he's going to be in a position to make the trebs. He actually needs a lot more on gold right now. I don't think he's realizing this. But he needs to find another gold pile, and he needs villagers on it. Because these villagers are going to end up repairing. Like, now he thinks, okay, I've got enough on gold. But pretty soon he's going to need to use these villas to repair as well. Yeah, and Z40 isn't mining stone, so he will probably need to buy stone. I mean, this is really interesting. And then, of course, there's converting the monks and making sure you can do a good job in that regard. Fishing ship still working for Z40. Slowly running out of fish, though. Yes, you can fish trap, but it's 100 wood of fish trap, and you have to pay attention to that. You have to place that. You're looking here. You're focused on this. You're focused on adding more villagers, adding more houses now. It is really intense stuff. The monks go to convert each other. You never know what way this is going to go, but it's probably even for both. And then the monks that get converted obviously just die. It's actually been better for Z40 thus far. Z40 doesn't have villagers here repairing his castle, though. That said, it seems like the siege workshop is what Matador clicked. Yeah, so the first couple of volleys from the Trebs from Matador actually clicked the siege workshop. I don't know if he did that on purpose. I'm going to assume that was a misclick because normally... Okay, did we have a drop here?
Yes.
Okay. So obviously these are wrecks. Sorry, I didn't know about this. Screen moving again randomly to left. Save and restore, and Matador saved. Okay, so I assume I have another wreck file. So I guess there was a bug in the middle of this crazy important moment too, which makes it so awkward. And I've got to try and get that other wreck here. All right, so sorry about that. They had to restore it from this point, right? So, you know, we continue on. It's 3 Trebs right now for Z40. Andy's got the Byzantine castle. Again, he's not mining stone, but he is repairing. And he's got like a 4,000 HP lead in the castle war. And once the castle goes down for Matador, he really has nothing protecting his monks from Z40's monks from moving in. And Z40, who's got 24 on food, is starting to make scouts and adding more stables, so he's thinking about light cav. He's maintained an eco lead. He's keeping his castle up. And this could all fall apart for Matador right here. Matador needs to... In other instances, you can maybe back up, but honestly, he needs to just hope he takes his castle out before he does back up. Which means he needs to repair this Treb desperately. You know, and then obviously he's going to have some work cut out for him if Lightcav comes out, but we'll see if that actually ends up happening. The castle will go down. Okay, so now I think you have to pack up the Trebs, and now I think you have to get out of here, as monks are still going to have to convert each other. I don't think it makes a ton of sense. Well, you do have mangonels coming in here. But there's a lot of monks for Matador, actually. There's 0 monks for Z40, guys. And the Trebs are actually going to stay alive. They shot the mangonels. What is happening? Oh, this is such a clowny game. I mean, the issue for Z40 is he actually moved out with Lightcav before he had a big mass of them. And there's so many monks. That he felt like, man, if I just clear up these monks right now and clear out his Trebs, we'll win this game. Here he comes again. More Lightcav on the way. There's still a lot of monks. Can Matador get the conversions? He's got no counter out to Lightcav, so he needs to hope the monks get the conversions. A lot of monks are dying. A lot of Lightcav have been converted, though, so there's 4 Lightcav for Matador. It still kind of feels like Z40 should win from here. He's still killing monks. He's got more army. He's got more eco. He's got more Trebs. He doesn't have protection for his own Trebs from these Lightcav, though. Well, I have no idea why Matador isn't taking out these Trebs. What a weird game. Now, having restored in the midst of an important tournament game before, it's really hard to play your best immediately after it. You got to get some flow back into the game. So some messiness was maybe expected. But, you know, Matador has 6 Lightcav now. And, you know, Z40 is kind of backed up into the corner here. Matador now dropping another castle just to hold the position. I don't want to say he's really pushing anymore, but he's in an okay spot. He also has another TC here, which has been producing vills. He's been adding a few more farms. He just lost his Treb, though. He just got rocked by the 2 trebuchets there from Z40. Okay, so this is where the amount on food's also pretty deceiving, right? 18 fishing ships, but they are going long distances for food. Still, though, I mean, he's 23 farms, and that's more than El Matador has. So he should really be able to do a lot with these light cav. Like, I think he will end up taking out this castle. It was such a weird castle for El Matador to place, but he probably felt like I have to hold the middle or I'm dead. Z40 giving these monks a lot of respect. And giving El Matador time to add a few spearmen. Now, once there's pikemen in front, suddenly the light cap play won't feel as strong. What a grind of a game from both players who are desperate for wins. It is the easiest chance for them to get wins against each other based on how the groups are looking at it right now. It's number 5 and number 6 against each other. But if you're in 5th or 6th place, you're relegated anyways at the end of the season. So this is so ridiculous, man. I don't know where the light cav are from Z40. They could be advancing forward right now. His trebs are advancing forward. His light cav aren't advancing forward. He's going to lose his treb to light cav. I think even the villager that was converted is going to help. This is so weird. Treb will actually survive. Dude, he's so lucky. That was on 1 HP. It should have never been in jeopardy in the first place. And now El Matador is trying to push, but the light cav advance forward, and these light cav will take this treb. But it's not an easy loss to stomach, possibly, because you did sacrifice a lot of light cav against the pikes. Messy game, man. It's a really messy game. Matador has more villagers. And just one treb. Oh, it's 2 trebs, rather. I'm going to send 1 treb here. Now, Burmese infantry, extra attack per age. So they have 4+3 attack for going up 3 ages. And the pikemen are going to take out a treb. Oh, man. Still probably falls to the category of dicey stuff from Z40, though, right? Like, now he's thinking I need a gate. Now I need some protection for it. Now, behind this, he is starting to add archery ranges. And he did get bodkin arrow. He is getting bracers. So I think he's thinking skirm. And skirm would be really good right here. But don't tell me pikemen are going to take out another trap. Well, pikemen are going to take out another trap. Wow, what a ridiculous hold from El Matador. He's been so stubborn. He's kept his monks incredibly active. He's kept his monk number high. He switched into pikemen. His eco's looking pretty good. He's actually going to build a TC here where there's stone and gold. Remember, he's still been taking all this stone and gold at Z40's base. He now needs to keep this castle up and take this castle down. Z40's got stone back here. And he's still Byzantine. So it's almost like the situation before, as Matador is actually just converting the villagers there. But I feel like both castles maybe go down here. They're both distrebbing each other. They both sunk so much stone into these castles. This is giving time for Z40 to get a lead skirm. And if he has a lead skirm on the field and this castle's down, like have a lead skirm should be enough to at least force El Matador into something else. That something else could be siege. He has a siege workshop. That something else could be champions if he had more on food. Holy monks from Matador. He's got 16 monks. Castle goes down for Matador. And for Z40, castle's going to go down as well. Funny how that's happened twice now, where both players just lose their castle. And then they go into a mini Trev war. Now, with 16 monks, you could convert the skirms. Right? You could convert the light cav. I don't know if he has illumination. But, yeah, Matador sees the skirms. He's actually losing a lot of monks to the trebs. That's actually such a good play. That is such a good play to be using the trebs against the monks right now. Repairing his trebs. This is so crazy. Man-at-arms on the way. So, I mean, you've got to go a long way up to at least two-handed swordsman for this to be extremely effective. Monks are just hanging out. Trying to convert when they can. Trebs are just trebbing on the trebs. This is so weird, man. This is so crazy. It's so sloppy. It's been El Matador on the offensive, though, this whole time. It's against Byzantines. How is he supposed to break Byzantines? He's somehow doing it. He's going to have 5 trebs forward. He's going to take out Z40's final treb here. But Z40 is using the skirms to micro down the monks now. There's only 4 monks remaining for El Matador. He had like 16 before, so he's just lost 1.5k worth of gold, at least in terms of the monks. However, you know, Gambesons came in, so a little bit of extra Pierce armor on the Man-at-Arms. There's still just Man-at-Arms. There's still not a lot of them. Oh, Z40, cancel this castle. Delete it. Delete it. Delete it. Delete it. Delete it. Do not drop this castle. You can win this game. You're winning right now. I think his army composition is actually better. Because all you need to do, if you still have gold income, is just mix in archers with your skirms. And these are Man-at-Arms. They're not longswords yet. But Z40, do not toss away your final stone here, dude. Oh, that hurts him so much. He's no way to kill the Trebs. He's sending to Vills. These are Vills that helped build the castle. Coming out here to take the Trebs. It's still 4 trebuchets, though. This is ridiculous. Also, Matador kind of repairing the Trebs. Man-at-Arms, still just Man-at-Arms. The longsword's on the way, and the castle falls. That hurts. Still winnable, but to not be able to make Trebs right now really hurts. There's still stone over here. It's still doable for him. This game is just really hard to make sense of right now. It's extremely messy. And longsword play starting to look better and better. 4 armor, 4 pierce armor, 9+3 attack. Two-handed swordsman could come in for Matador. Matador's Trebs have been kept alive. Z40's tossed away all of his villagers to take out the Trebs and didn't. And I think Z40, like, he had a moment there. I mean, he still is gold, but I just don't think he has it in him at this point. I think if Matador could buy a castle here, well, I was going to say maybe buy a castle here and just continue to snowball this push. The Trebs will take out all the buildings. Z40 already unable to really handle the pressure of the situation. Would be forced to tap out, but Z40 calls it anyways. Honestly, there were so many aspects of that, which is just so unbelievably messy and awkward with El Matador's pressure, right? Like, sometimes we want to look at situations and say, well, this makes sense for that reason. This has structure, and this is this, and this is that. Matador was just like, I'm going to hit you in the face constantly. I don't even know how to make sense of this half the time, but I just know I'm going to pressure you and not give you time. And I think, like, in the last minute there, we saw Z40 make some really big errors because of that pressure. I think that castle, like, I understand you feeling the need to fortify, but with his ranges and with his gold count, I honestly think he just needed to chill. Even just right here, guys. Or not there. Here. If in this moment, he just holds back, he queues up the crossbow upgrade, and I don't know, like 10 archers, and just waits. These Trebs are going to take out other buildings. Sure, just build up a couple of buildings. If he has 20 skirms with eventually 20 arbalests, he has the resources for that. What do Burmese do to stop it? I don't know what Burmese do to stop it. And like, El Matador was really late. He's not on the way to champion or anything at the end of this game. He's still on longsword. So I think this is still winnable, even from the back corner. But you know, sometimes when you're on the back foot and you don't have map control, you don't realize how good your position could be. And I think this game would have gone on a bit longer. Like, I'm sure El Matador would have tried different things, but realistically, I think Z40 could have played on longer there had he not lost all those skirmishers there. El Matador gets 2 wins now, guys, which means if he gets the 3-0, he surpasses Target, meaning Target has to get a decent result versus Hart in his final round in this group. Obviously looking really bad for Z40 now, but if Z40 can get a win, he can mathematically make it very difficult for El Matador to survive and then give himself a better shot, because Z40 will have 2 more rounds after this. This is going to be Matador's last round. 6K more gold brought into that game from Matador, and then 2.5K more stone. He did control a lot of the mining resources, both in this area and in this area, and just gave up the water. You know, maybe, you know, another thing, if we're talking optimizing the strategy, maybe if Z40 could have added a few fish traps, maybe the food income would have been better there. But I'm similar level to Z40, and I wouldn't have been able to have the time and focus to do that. And if I was doing that, I would have taken worse fights here, which was already a weak point for him. So just things to talk about, right? So here we are. Dude, this is insane. Guys, I again just spitballing some random stats out here because I don't remember it, but I'm pretty sure I'm close. pretty sure if Matador loses this, he's got a 1 or 2% chance of survival. But if he wins, he's got a 20% chance. And then if Z40 loses this, his chances go down for survival as well. So again, the stats are a little bit tricky because he's got 2 more rounds after this. But it's a really important series here. Matador now at 5 wins, which is tying Target in the group. But Target would win the tiebreaker with El Matador. So he needs another win. Matador playing as the Mongols, which I think is the #1 civ on this map. Malians are in the top 3 or 4, though. And you see now El Matador coming forward with one of the villagers. It's a nomad start. So both players built their TC right away and are going to chop these straggler trees. And then one of their other villagers goes out to dock. Common approach we've seen on this map is 2 fishing ships from the early dock, pretty much regardless of civ. And then the players will be running out of wood around their TC, and they will go to the sides to lumber camp. So here would make sense. Then it's a matter of, do they wish to take a lot of map control with galleys or fire galleys? I understand the need to take water, and I think water is important, but if you look at the spacing of the fish, there's not actually that many. So after your first 2 fish, I feel like it's pretty inefficient anyways. So I think with the Mongols, what I would do, again, not being here and not being these players, obviously, I think I would add the dock, I would fish, and then I would just go for a scout opening, in all honesty. I would go scouts and give up water and almost hope my opponent would go 2 docks, especially against Malians, because Malians have the cheaper docks and cheaper houses, all that stuff. It's just easier for them to be flexible in water. But, I mean, if you're fast enough to feudal age, you could beat the Malians on water, and that's got to be a tempting idea. So we'll see what Matador wants to do. I feel like every game Matador has played on this, he's gone 2 docks on water. Like every single time. Lee, I wouldn't say that TCing the wood is better, because you have to walk that far, which means you're down a villager or 2. But TCing, I really like TCing this area if you're going fast castle and you're worried about being rushed on land. So if you wanted to go full water into fast castle, I like the wood TC, because you just kind of wall this way. And you're nice and safe back here. But it does leave you exposed as well with less hunt. There's a lot of hunt on this map. So, was what I had said. 2 fishing ships for both. Matador bringing in elephant #3. And it looks like he's going to click up to feudal age here. I see him dropping off the food, so probably waiting for the food here. Clicks up to feudal age. All right, so this would be a water play. So now he needs to transfer a bunch of these villagers over to wood, which is a long walk. And then a bunch of these villagers over to gold as well, which he hasn't actually scouted any of. T90, do you know when Casva plays next? I think, if you ask me after the series, I can tell you exactly when. I think Casva plays Wednesday. And I will be casting it. I'll be casting all the sets. The only thing is, I'm not sure if there's going to be games on a Friday. I have to figure out what the schedule looks like to see if I can swing community games and TTL. But at the very least, I may cast sets as Rex like I'm doing now, right? So, yeah, Casva has to be getting some sets in soon. I know he's scheduled, I think, with Nilly already. I think he has 1 more round. That's a really interesting group, because in that group, there's 4 players who are fighting for over 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. I'm going to be casting some of that group next. We will have Dark versus... So we have MBL versus Rapard, and we have Dark FedEx. And FedEx, Rapard, Nilly, and Casva are the 4 players out of the 6 I was talking about that are fighting for the 3rd through 6th positions. Because, at least as it stands, it looks like MBL is favored to get 1st. Dark is probably favored to get 2nd. Obviously, that changes if FedEx gets a really good result against Dark today. So, we'll see. Also, keep in mind, Liquipedia may show some of the details from the sets I'm talking about that we'll be casting next. I've avoided it, and I ask you do as well. We'll see how things go. But yeah. So really fast uptime for Matador. Just insanely fast. And he's gone for the water approach. And he's going 2 galleys into even a 3rd galley. And he's going to win water here. Z40 has an option to try and come back on water. But Z40 didn't. He actually pulled the villager that had built this dock and left. And he's not going to compete for water at all here. So, seems like this is a fast castle from him. He scouted very thoroughly with his camel. He'll likely go for a market and a blacksmith. He still will have an elephant saved. These 2 zebra. The goats underneath the TC. He should be able to squeak by and get up to castle. But so could Matador. I mean, Matador's resources are ridiculous. The biggest issue for Matador is actually just going to be wood for his buildings. Because he needs blacksmith. And then he needs market. He's got 9 on wood at the moment. So even though the food and gold's there, he's not going to have the buildings yet. So he'll be behind by at least a minute here. This will probably be a boom game. Malian's cheaper wood buildings. That applies to the TC. He will give up map control. And he will not have... He won't have the best of times up against Mongols if Mongols want to be aggressive. But we have a barracks for Matador. So now El Matador is 2 buildings removed still from going up to the next stage. Because the barracks is still a Dark Age building. I think what he wants to do is he wants his buildings to advance to the next stage to be a stable and a blacksmith. But if this was a market going up now, then right now he could be making the blacksmith. He could be up soon. So it's just the wood. It's just the wood that's the problem. And the downside of the build that he went for at the start is the straggler trees aren't around anymore. So like if you're like, oh crap, I need a little bit extra wood, you can't transfer them to the straggler trees because you already took them. So he's just got to wait for that wood, which I'm sure it feels like is taking forever now. Like this is... Yeah, there's the blacksmith now. But he's got lots of resources. And actually, Z40 is going for a stable. And I really like how active Z40 has been here with his camel. He scouted that it was a 2-dock play from his opponent earlier. He now scouts that there's a stable, so he knows his opponent could add different things. He has no mill, so there's no market. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that might have played its role, actually. What about Matador scouting? Okay, so Matador scouted the barracks. His opponent's in Castle Age. He really should be looking to see if there's a stable here. Because these villagers are exposed. And because that area has been scouted by Z40, Z40 should know that those are villagers for the taking. I think this is really poor for Matador. Like, if this knight were to come over here, this knight would probably kill 2 or 3 vills. Because the camel could block. And Z40's all over it as well. You have to know. You saw the barracks. The only reason a barracks would come up is if it's the prerequisite for the stable. I think that camel gave too much away for Z40. And Matador's going to run away now. And he can see the knight. So he knows it's coming. But this is not walled. And so this is going to be annoying for El Matador. Z40's on 2 town centers. Remember, he doesn't have fishing ships, but I don't think he'll complain too much. He's on 2 town centers, transitioned really nicely with his farms. And one knight could accomplish a lot. El Matador trying to get quick walls, quick gates, quick houses down to defend from this. If this knight were to get back here, could ruin his day. And he's just getting him down. He needs a new palisade wall. New palisade wall. Oh, thank God. Wow, very well played here, though. Like, I really felt as though that knight would have gotten through. Z40, though, is going to pick off a unit there. And Matador wasn't paying attention to this, and that's going to be another villager down as well. So the Eco KD is now 2-2. And we've got 2 stables from El Matador. He'll have Step Lancers and he'll have Camels. And in all honesty, he should clear this up now. But I'd say the 2 Knights were worth it. You forced a lot of quick walls. You killed 2 villagers. And there's no way that the eco balance is going to be perfect for El Matador because of how that played out. The worry now is going to be, can you hold map control? But again, normally this heads to late game. I'm sure Z40 could make his own camels, but for now he doesn't actually really have the food for it. Resources collected. 1,000 more resources for El Matador. Later to the second town center, of course, but that will go up. Hasn't scouted this gold. I'm sure maybe he would have been tempted to TC out here if he knew his opponent wasn't sending in more army. God, Z40 is being annoying with this camel. This camel is blocking that little piece of wall there. So Matador might think that there's army that's going to swoop in. Matador will see his opponent has monks. Eco count still higher for the German, who's fishing long distance, but is fishing nonetheless. No horse collar at all, so when the farms come out for Matador, they won't last all that long. Step Lancers knew there was a monk, and bam, kill the monk. Well played, Matador. You know what I'd really like to see here? And I think it's very uncommon for this map. And wow, Matador was able to realize I keep these knights out. I feel like a forward siege workshop right here would be so good. Because you know your opponent's probably booming back here. You don't get to see the farms like we do. You know there's probably something going on there. But it's such a long way to walk. But if you think about it, it's not going to win you the game. But it puts your opponent under pressure, and it gives you time back at your base. Camels are headed over here towards these knights. Camels are slightly faster than knights, so this should lead to a kill there. But yeah, it feels kind of natural for a siege push for me. Because Z40 is just sitting behind his walls. Z40 will lose his knight. And great defense there from Matador. Matador still no horse collar. That feels like a basic upgrade to be getting in these situations. Also, tons on gold at the moment with no real easy way to spend it. Doesn't have a market, remember. So, without having a market, he's not able to balance his eco with those resources. Step Lancers hoping to break in. Z40's got monks, but they're all behind his walls somewhere. I don't actually know where they are. I'm assuming... Oh, here they are. And he goes double house wall. Again, a siege push would be really nice here. Even now, I like it. And yes, Malians get redemption, but that's big investment. Big investment into monks and monk upgrades, which I don't think has a lot of value against Mongols. Matador hoping to just get the relics right now himself with his monks. He's probably going to get at least 2. May even get more than that. Resources collected. Still on Matador ahead, but not ahead in food. And remember, we know that not only is the farm count ridiculous for Z40 right now, let's look at this. He's got 31, and Matador's at 21. That's actually not too bad. Some of these are new. But these farms are going to expire at such an awkward point for Matador because of no horse collar. It's really going to hurt him. It's an upgrade you absolutely need here if you're going to be going for Mangadai as well. Z40, though, needing map control is at a double stable now, and he's going to use some of that food to make some camels. In the long run, Malians do have the better camels. And Mongols do not have... they do not have help. He has it now? Okay, nice. Okay, so that's not too bad. Could be worse. He's also fish trapping. Okay, I really like that. The fish trapping is really nice because you actually want to fish trap when there's not... When you're not struggling. When you're not in the midst of a crazy battle, you want to fish trap. This is my problem, is I'm like, I have fish left, and I just let the fish continue, and then yeah, it gets awkward. 9 camels for Z40. Look at Z40. He's headed towards this area, knowing that this area is really important. Matador spent a lot of his time over here. But he might just want to make sure he gets those relics. This would be really bad for Matador if this TC gets spotted. He's added some scouts to maybe kill the monks. And, oh my god, that TC is going to be spotted. Man, it did really felt like Z40 almost knew it was going up, though, right? Like, he was heading right towards that. Like, it was, you know, something he was aware of. But disaster for Matador. It's just an area, like, Z40's thinking, I want map control so I can drop a forward castle, I believe. And I think that's where his mind is. And you'd never want the castle to be here. Because you see a stone count that seems part of his plan. And so he denies the TC. Like have in for Matador, though. And Matador is going to kill one. He's going to kill one monk. And then there's camels and there's step lancers. And there will be conversions and there will be healing. Should be a better fight for Z40 here. TC still not up. Those two camels are protecting it. Pretty close. But I do not like additional step lancers now from Matador. The camels should be really good against them. I think you just got to play the camel game. The camels are counter to step lancer. But I guess if you feel like your camels are worse, you got to go... He's maybe thinking I have to go for a unit that plays towards my strengths here. And at least, you know, with the way pathing can be, the step lancers could maybe take better fights. TC did complete here, by the way. And that's TC on an important stone with the civilization that relies on the stone. And now Z40. He's going to walk forward with those villagers. And I think this was his plan the whole time. I think, like, on some level, some people might be like, how did he know that? Like, that's so weird. But there's always these forward golds and forward stones. I talked about how siege pushing this could have been nice earlier, right? To pressure that area, hold control of that area. And so he's thinking, if I hold control of this with a castle, and I'm making camels, like, what does the opponent do beyond make their own camels? Mongols have pretty poor monks long-term. Mongols have not the worst camels ever, but they don't have great camels long-term. Just a camel fest right now. 25 camels for Z40. Also should mention he had armor and bloodlines in those fights. Matador didn't have an attack upgrade or an armor upgrade, just the bloodlines upgrade. And I would honestly just go in from here because you want to be thinking about trebuchets. Because the second Matador sees this, he might fall back with a castle and go imp himself. It seems like he's still... Okay, still going to produce more camels. As a lot of camels, man. Matador's got step lancers, camels, monks as well. 3 conversions are needed. Matador. 1, 2, and 3. Gets the conversions. You lose the monks, which kind of hurts. But at least you got the conversions. I think I would take this fight if I'm Matador, hoping the step lancers do something here, especially with the trees. I'm not sure that this is a good fight for him. I think he just gets overwhelmed because of the camel numbers. I don't think he was expecting Z40 to have so many freaking camels. Where's Waldo, dude? Look at all these little red striped camels. What is this? This is crazy camel production from Z40. And he's going to go for another castle. So 2 castles in the same area. Just to, you know, further deny that stone and gold. Stone still being available for Matador. And, you know, it's 30 camels for Z40. And I don't know what Matador makes. I think you need a castle here. So you could try... Oh, this is so tough. Because if you castle there, you could lose the Trebor. Against 2 castles. But I still think you need a castle there to try and trap this back eventually. And then, I don't know, maybe like pikes. Castle here is alright. Because it's a safe castle and you want Mangadai. But then what do you do about this position? So there's the coast and then there's the mountain on this map. And El Matador initially prioritized the coast. Never really put heavy priority in terms of at least aggression or map control on the mountain. Z40 is a mountain man. And he's got camels that will have full castle upgrade, full castle upgrades, excuse me, in 45 seconds. And his eco is flying. So I actually think he's going to be able to afford heavy camel, Farimba, and the armor upgrade. And he's collected more food, tons more gold, more stone. Get double castle, so that means trebs. No target, though, for the trebuchets. No, like, immediate target. El Matador needs this game. A 3-0 here, and it means that Target has to get one win in his final series against Hart, which will be coming up within this week. He just straight up has to. Whereas if El Matador loses this game, there's a lot of like other like crazy results that have to go his way for him to have some type of chance. I think he would have to hope that Hart gets stomped against Z40 actually, so Z40 becomes his best friend all of a sudden. But yeah, I'm not actually sure. We'll look at the odds after this and try and think about it. If El Matador can't hold on, El Matador's up to 22 camels. There's 58 camels from Z40. He's got so many. He's going to be on 60 camels. And yeah, Farimba and then heavy camel. And I think El Matador's like, are you freaking kidding me? Am I going to have to go pikeman with Mongols? What is this crap? So yeah, he's going to have to try and go pikes. Oh my god, that's the MTC. He's going to lose his MTC. Okay, this is what Matador will do. Matador's going to fight. He's going to have to give Z40 good fights. Z40's got Farimba now, so he should be taking fights. He's going to have to give him good fights. That way he doesn't lose his MTC. Because if he backs away fully, I think the camels would take out the GC. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. He's waiting for heavy camel. He's being patient. He was actually really patient and didn't even add trebs. Both players are 200 pop, but Z40 has 70 army. Oh! Oh! MTC! Yeah, you have to fight it. That way Z40 fights you. Oh, man. Okay, you made it to Imp, but congratulations. Now your army's exposed, and your villagers are going to go down. And, well, I don't know what you do. Z40 just shot out of a cannon. He 3 TC boomed and then just shot out of a freaking cannon with camel numbers in castle. And then had the perfect plan. 2 forward castles here. I don't even know if a pikeman... I think pikemans get shredded by a Farimba camel, right? 7+7 attack versus a 55 HP unit. I know pikeman does some bonus damage, but there's a reason you don't really want to be making pikemen if you're capped out at pikemen. This is... Now, Matador's dead. Like, here, he drops a castle, but now there's trebuchets to take out that castle, and he doesn't really have army to hit the trebs. Z40 will have the potential for Gabetto as well, long term, which he's already added a few of, and that would be great against the pikemen, obviously. This castle could maybe produce some Mangadite at some point for El Matador, but his eco is in ruins right now. Like he's just been shredded, and Z40 expanding to these golds as well. He truly has looked at home at this map. The only thing that's really looked awkward for him was was this right here with the Gabettos. Just like losing a couple Gabettos to a castle. But, I mean, he's a 200 pop. We'll forgive him for losing a couple units like that. Nalian camels, man. And it was just a free boom game. Free boom game, and then we know how awkward it can be for Mongols to get to those castles, have time to mass those Mangadai. It's a great call from Z40 to take map control with all that army. You really put El Matador under pressure, forced Matador to make a lot of his army. And yeah, the pikemen just get wrecked. The castle's going to go down. There's actually trebs in there for Matador as well, so they will be unprotected. Villagers are going down. 80 villagers have been lost by Matador. 85 now. That'll be 100 soon. And Z40 possibly spoils El Matador's attempts at staying alive here in Titans League. And he gives himself a little bit more of a shot. One more win on the board before his final 2 rounds to close out this group. Feels like Z40 showed, like, he didn't know what to do in game 1. I think he got out-strategized. Game 2, it felt like his brain was melting, and he didn't know how to handle the pressure. Game 3, he looked like a seasoned pro who has been doing this for decades. Well, let's just say a decade. Seriously. It didn't even seem like the same player in the third game. Like, it was super smooth the whole way through. And I think part of that's because he was never under pressure, right? He made some mistakes in the first and second game because Matador was on him and Matador was suffocating him. There was no real pressure in this game. Z40 was really able to chill, play the eco game, and then he was able to get himself in good positions. Ends the game with 105 eco kills, 250 total kills, had fully upgraded Farimba camels, and 8 seconds away from fully upgraded Elite Beto. So the result there is 2-1. El Matador on 5 wins, but El Matador, he will lose the tiebreaker with Target, who's on 5 wins. We'll look at the odds here in just a second. Anyways, just to fully appreciate that eco balance from Z40. 25k food collected, 15k gold collected. Crazy stuff, dude. And then, of course, he probably wasn't highest APM the whole game. It's all decision-making from him there. And he got a win. Let's see. Give me 1 sec to pull up the stat sheet. So, according to this, El Matador has 0.46% odds for 4th. I do not even know what would have to happen for 0.46% to somehow pan out. But there is a chance that Matador survives. That would probably be, he can't beat Target, straight up. He just can't. Because even if Target gets 3-0'd in the final round, Target will have 1 more set win, which is the first tiebreaker. And then even if they had the same amount of set wins, Target won the head-to-head, which is the tiebreaker. So he can't beat Target. He could beat Z40, but he needs to beat another player somehow as well. So I think he needs to hope that Hart drops below him, but then Z40 doesn't get above him. So okay, hold on. Let's try and play out the scenarios here. Just to see how Matador can survive, and then we'll play out the scenarios to see how Z40 survives. I mean, for Z40, he needs to get above 5. Well, not just above 5. It's going to be tricky. Hart would need to lose every game. Well, let's try it. So let's say Hart gets 3-0'd by Target. I mean, obviously that has massive ramifications. Guys, Target could go into playoffs regardless of what happens in that series. And then, let's see, Z40 goes for the big 3-0 here. Gets the result. Yeah, Matador still screwed then, right? Because then he's behind Z40 and then he's behind Target. Maybe Hart wins 1 game against Z40. I honestly, I do not know how we get a scenario where El Matador survives. So really bad for El Matador is basically the point. But let's talk about the final remaining sets, because I don't want to speculate too much here. So Target, his final series is going to be up against Hart, and that's a big one for him. If he can beat Hart, get up to maybe 7 wins or something, or even just getting 1 win against Hart. Oh, no. He needs to beat Hart probably to get 3rd, because Hart's got a couple sets remaining. Sebastian has 2 sets remaining. One of which is against Nikov. Nikov being 9-0 right now looks really good. But Sebastian has a series against Z40, and I think Sebastian will beat him 3-0. I think Sebastian and Nikov have looked so much better than everyone. Sebastian never lost a set. He won 2-1. Nikov has, obviously been the king thus far of this group. But kind of looks like Nikov first, Sebastian second, and that's close to maybe a mathematical guarantee. Still some things up in the air on what happens between that 3rd and 4th spot, realistically, in Group A. But yeah. Had Z40 gotten 3-0'd there, you could see that Z40 would almost be guaranteed to be relegated. But the fact that he got a win, and he has 2 more sets remaining, gives him a chance to maybe slide into that 4th place spot.